Warning! X is the first of a new generation of robots which contains an innovative new feature. The ability to think, feel, and make their own decisions. However, this ability could be very dangerous. If X were to break the first rule of robotics, a robot must never harm a human being. The results would be disastrous, and I fear that no force on Earth could stop him. Approximately 30 years will be required before we can safely confirm his reliability. Unfortunately, I will not live to see that day, nor do I have anyone to carry on my work. Therefore, I have decided to seal him in this capsule, which will test his internal systems until his reliability has been confirmed. Please, do not disturb the capsule until that time. X possesses great risks, as well as great possibilities. I can only hope for the best. September 18th, 20XX. Dr. Thomas Light. Well, wasn't that a dramatic intro? Hello everyone and welcome to Let's Replay Mega Man X. This one I'm redoing just because of what game I'm doing next for quality reasons. And we're thrown right on into the game. At first we should go over a bit more of the backstory while X goes over this destroyed highway. You might notice in the intro there, the first screen of text mentions a Dr. Kane. That is the person who found X. He was a researcher looking into, I think it was Mesozoic era plant life, who found one of Dr. Light's, now deceased Dr. Light's, old labs in which was a capsule that contained X. X here is technically the last robot master of the classic franchise. Not a robot, but not human, somewhere close in between. Kane found the designs for X and replicated them, creating a whole new line of robots known as Reploids, who are more human than they are robot in terms of the way they work. However, eventually, Reploids started going wrong. They were originally created to help humanity and, help generate peace, shit like that, do more jobs. But then some started going Maverick and injuring people. Thus, Maverick Hunters were eventually created, special Reploids who were created to basically be police. X, feeling a bit guilty because he has quite the conscience on himself, given the fact that this is technically all his fault for existing, joined the Maverick Hunters and wants to help stop everything from happening. Then the leader of the Maverick Hunters, Sigma, went Maverick, and war has begun, just full out right. And obviously X, being a peace-loving guy, is a bit bummed out about that, and now is taking everything quite personally. And by the way, I should mention everything I just said was basically paraphrased right from the manual, because there's a whole section of Dr. Kane talking about that stuff. Either way, starting off, the intro stage is more or less just here to get you used to the new controls. X has the charge beam off the start, yeah, I said that right. From the start, rather, like classic Mega Man did from 4 onwards. He could wall climb and wall cling, where basically if you hold yourself against a wall after jumping, you'll slow down and slide down the wall, but you can also jump over and over again to climb the wall. You can do that with either one wall or 2 walls. One wall is overall faster. And you're going to see me doing something kind of odd here. I'm intentionally taking some damage from these specific enemies. Why? To speed something that's about to happen up just a little bit. I could have taken more damage, but I wanted to be a bit safer. That's ominous music. Boba Fett? Our little friend here is not a winnable fight. You just need to take damage, he'll eventually jump back and fire that projectile, at which point cutscenes take over. You worthless piece of scrap metal! Did you think you could defeat me? guess I'm not powerful enough to defeat him. X, you shouldn't expect to defeat him. He's designed to be a war machine. Remember, you've not reached full power yet. If you use all of the abilities you were designed with, you should become stronger. You may even become as powerful as I am. I'll scout ahead and collect as much information on Sigma's fortress as I can. I'll meet up with you when you get there. See you later. X, I know you can do it. Well, that was a nice bromance moment. X and Zero are really bros from the start. Zero, by the way, is basically the second in command of the Maverick Hunters, and he's the substitute leader while Sigma's gone absolutely insane. And this is our stage select. As usual, we have 8 bosses to go after. Mavericks this time around instead of Robot Masters. And interesting thing about the little stage select here, there are several little information windows you can get from this. Either what their stage looks like to get a brief view at the gimmick, their location on a fairly weird-looking map screen, and then their statistics like height, weight, and one of their attacks, which is odd. However, we're doing what basically every LP of this does in going after Chill Penguin first, because his stage is not only the easiest overall, but it has the most handy items for us within it. And if his name isn't obvious enough, this is our ice stage. However, there's actually not really ice gimmicks in this stage off the top of my head. Now, going over my own history of Mega Man X, because I don't think I did that in the original LP years back, this was actually one of the first games I ever played. It was definitely the first Mega Man game. And I actually have a lot of fond memories of it due to that. It's not my favorite in the X series, that goes to X8, but it's probably the game in the series I go back to the most often just because it's the quickest to go through. If you didn't learn to use the wall cling and wall jump rather, during the intro stage, this is where you're really supposed to home it in on your brain. Somehow, when I was growing up, I didn't, because I used to have my brother do this little climb here for me for some reason. But hey, this thing looks cool. Dr. Light? So you've come. X, I give you the ability to choose your own path in life. And I hoped the world would allow you to choose a peaceful one. But now it seems that you are destined to fight. Because I thought the world might need a new champion. I have hidden capsules like this one. If you find and use them, you will be able to increase your powers beyond anything the world has ever known. Step into this capsule and receive an acceleration system to boost your speed. Good luck, X. And thus, our first Dr. Light capsule. More or less, these are around to give you upgrades to your armor, as well as a new little nifty sprite. Right here is the only one that you're basically required to get in the game, and it's the dash boots. More or less, you press the A button on the controller, you can now dash. Or circle if you're playing on the X collection on PS2. This is also the only ability that X would keep with him in the future sequels. All other armor pieces, with the exception of the 4th armor and the Falcon armor in X's 5 and 6 respectively, this is the only thing he keeps with him. Light capsules are something you're going to want to find in the game because the armor upgrades are actually fairly significant. And something that's a bit odd about them is that the light capsules themselves, I've mentioned this in the other LPs of the X series I've done, they're inconsistent as to whether or not they're supposed to be an AI or a recorded message. That one clearly seemed like it was an AI right there due to that message, but the other one seemed pre-recorded. Either way, at that point, Chill Penguin stage actually goes by really quickly from here on out. This can actually be a kind of deadly section because I think of the largest kind of snowball can do a lot of damage, but otherwise, it's fairly simple. But it's time for Chill Penguin himself. Got our usual little boss hallway there, checkpoint. And Chill Penguin himself is a very easy Maverick. He has a few different attacks. He can generate little snow statues, which he can then either blow towards you or dash into them himself. He has a little slide attack that allows him to just go all over the place. He can hit that switch on the ceiling to cause a lot of wind to happen. And then he can also just fire ice pellets. Overall, very easy boss, especially if you take advantage of the other thing that the dash gives us that's, I think, supposedly a bug in X1 and 2, the dash shot. Essentially, if you fire, I think it's just a standard yellow pellet while dashing, it can do double the damage that it does normally. Now, realistically, that would make some amount of sense if he was firing something physical because added velocity, but if he's firing energy, I don't know exactly how that's supposed to work. I'm not sure what is actually faster, doing the dash shot or firing a full charge shot. I think the dash shot is faster just because you don't have to have the charge up time. But on the whole, either way, Chill Penguin is a very easy first Maverick to take out. There are a couple others that are potential firsts, like the one I go after second is actually one you could always start off with first. But I always come to Chill Penguin first just to make sure I get the dash boots. And for beating him, as usual, we get ability, because, you know, it is a Mega Man game. We get Shotgun Ice, which fires a little ice projectile forward that'll split off in 5 directions in the opposite direction when it contacts something, be it an enemy or a wall. Compared to, like, Mega Man 2, the weapons in this game are fairly useful, but Shotgun Ice is not one I find myself using too often. Now, at this point, if you wanted to go off in weakness order, you'd be heading after Spark Mandrill there on the bottom left. However, I don't know why I'm highlighting Armored Armadillo. I have always gone after this guy next. Our next boss is Storm Eagle. Theoretically, like I just mentioned, you could actually start with Storm Eagle, but I like having the dash boots for this stage because it allows me to get everything in it on the first venture. Because light capsules aren't the only things contained in stages. There are a few other items that are not necessary for your survival, but they certainly help it. Now, Storm Eagle stage is actually a much more platforming heavy stage because there's a lot more bottomless pits beneath us. There were like 2 bottomless pits, I think, total in Storm Penguin stage. Storm Penguin, Chill Penguin stage. There's a lot in this one. Either way, dash jump to the left because dashing and jumping will give you extra velocity to find this thing. That's a heart tank. It increases your total health by either 2 or 3 little pegs. One of those is hidden in every stage. We couldn't get the one in Chill Penguin stage because we didn't have a later ability yet. However, we can get everything in Storm Eagle stage on the first venture thanks to the dash boots. Also, I love Storm Eagle's theme. Mega Man X1 soundtrack is overall a great soundtrack, but this theme always sticks out in my head, as well as one other. Either way, destroy the enemy that was on that platform and wait on it for a second for it to rise up, and you can find an enemy up here, as well as this. This is a sub-tank. Those familiar with the classic series would remember E-tanks. It's more or less the equivalent to that for the X series, only it works entirely differently. It still is a reservoir of energy for you, life energy for you rather, health. But instead of being, you collect it, you use it, then you have to find another one, the sub-tank is constantly with you. However, when you get it, it has no energy in it. Essentially, say you're at full health and you collect a small or large energy pellet, that excess energy is added to the sub-tank for you to use at a later point. So essentially, it's more like a health bank than a health tank. Things you should keep in mind about sub-tanks, though, they take a while to fill up if you're just going through stages normally, not intentionally grinding for them. And if you use it once, you use all of it. So say if I used a sub-tank when I was missing like 2 health, I would get that 2 health back, but the rest of the energy within the sub-tank would be effectively wasted. So use it when you're lower on HP. Either way, now we want to come over here and jump over here because we can actually destroy these little fire tanks. There's a couple of other these in the stage, but this is the only one that's necessary for 100% because we have our second light capsule. This capsule contains an enhancement for your helmet, which will allow you to break some ceilings with a headbutt. It is the most situational ability in the series, I swear to God. Other helmet abilities in the Mega Man X series would get effectively more and more useful as the series went on. X4 is, I think, overall being the peak of that because unlimited weapon energy. But here, this block breaking ability is used in 1 stage, maybe 2, counting this. It is really pointless. It looks cool. It's one of my favorite helmet designs in the series. But, though a nice little tease the game does, by the way, in terms of the actual armor pieces. On the cartridge for the game and the box art, X is in his full armor. And that's something that the X series would do until X4, I believe. Now, the boss door is down there, but a little thing I didn't know about until quite a few years after I first played it is that there's actually a little bonus health and weapon energy down there. And that counts as you entering the boss checkpoint, so that's cool. Oh my god, we destroyed the ship. This is actually supposed to be Storm Eagle's personal ship. That's why he's actually here. Storm Eagle on his own is the easiest boss in the game if you have the dash shot, because he doesn't really have many attacks that can outright harm you. He has 2 attacks that can blow you away like that. One is him flapping his wings, one is him firing his Storm Tornado ability. His most prominent attack is this little dive attack, which, if you have stereo sound, is actually very easy to abuse against him, because you'll hear the direction he's coming from, left or right. And his only other attack, really, is when he's flying in midair. He can occasionally, I think he's about to do it now, cough up an egg that'll spawn out 4 little mini eggs, birds, like Mega Man 7 would later do in Cloudman's stage. Overall, especially if you have the dash shot, a very easy boss, but he gives you the best weapon in the game. Also, for some reason, saying weapon like that reminded me, an ability that X has naturally that Mega Man Classic had to get through another item in Mega Man 6 onwards, is that, say if I used Shotgun Ice but I didn't have it equipped, and I collected weapon energy, the weapon energy would be restored to Shotgun Ice. It automatically goes to the lowest weapon, though. Either way, for beating Storm Eagle, we get Storm Tornado, which is the best ability in the game. It doesn't look like much, but this thing tears through enemies. It does damage so often, and it does so much that it's frankly absurd, which is why I'm going to be using it a shitload from here on out. But with that, I'm going to need to end this off here. Thank you guys for watching, and in part 2, we'll be heading after this guy because Storm Eagle is strong against him, and this guy is Storm against Chill Penguin, so we need to round out that little weakness chain there in order to continue on our normal path. Thank you guys for watching, and see you guys then.